As tensions escalate between Israel and Iran, a series of unusual security incidents taking place in Israel since Wednesday. First, an explosion at a missile factory near the central city of Ramleh. Before official comments, Iranian media praised the blast, saying it took place at a, quote, sensitive military industrial site. It quoted eyewitnesses as seeing flames at a great height. Israeli media say the explosion was part of a routine test at a facility for advanced weapons. Overnight, a surface-to-air missile launched from Syria, setting off red alert sirens near Israel's top-secret nuclear reactor in Dimona. The IDF activated its air defense systems in an attempt to intercept the missile. However, the attempt apparently failed. In response, the IDF attacked several missile batteries in Syria, including the one that fired the projectile that struck its territory. Syria's state news agency said Syrian air defenses intercepted the Israeli attack. Syrian media reported 4 soldiers injured in those strikes. Let's clear this up with Dr. Nir Boms, a Dayan Center Research Fellow from Tel Aviv University. Thank you, sir, for joining me today.
Good to be here.
So first of all, we have 2 separate incidents here. The IDF has said the overnight strike near Dimona did indeed come from Syria. But what about that missile factory explosion? Was this just a routine incident, or should we be reading more into it?
Well, as these things go, things will clear up as things progress. But for all the information I've seen so far, I think the 2 incidents are not related. And it also seems that since we have the missile shrapnel and we can identify this is an SA-5, and we can identify the source and the timing, we can say with a certain degree of certainty that the event early this morning, late last night, was a response of Syrian anti-missile or anti-airplane fire following an Israeli attack in a suburb of Damascus, and a missile that is an old missile with a significant radius that was launched against an airplane and eventually had gotten closer to Dimona, and then prompted an additional Israeli attack that destroyed the SA-5 missile launcher in Syria. Of course, there is an Iranian version of it, and the Iranians very much need a victory picture. The tit-for-tat account for the last few months and weeks, really since the mysterious assassinations of the new nuclear scientist and all the way to Namtaz, with a number of ships and other Iranian nuclear experts who had disappeared or facilities where they're damaged, necessitates an Iranian response, and the Iranians are pleased to celebrate, and perhaps Israel will even let them do so, because it may be something that will deflate the difficult reality. But I think it's difficult to say that the Iranians have actually, with the help of the Syrians, were able to successfully launch a missile to Dimona, although that particular scenario, even if it was not completely deliberate, points to the fact that this conflict is dangerous, it can escalate easily, and that the abilities are there. And that's something that certainly we need to take into consideration.
So without saying who specifically is responsible at the end of the day for launching this missile, the missile near Dimona is the farthest that Syria has been able to strike in Israel to date. How significant is it? And of course, the fact that it's near the Dimona facility at all.
Oh, the SA-5 missile has a range of close to 400 kilometers. It's an old missile, but it can be improved. And one of the things the Iranians have done is improving old systems and making them more accurate. This is, if you wish, a potential preview of what the conflict with Lebanon and Hezbollah, and as well as with Syria, may look like. if there's going to be a scenario of the third Lebanon war, when we'll have a barrage of missiles, particularly missiles that are more accurate, not surface to air, but surface to surface missiles that have particular targets programmed into their launch, means that missiles can be targeting strategic facilities. Dimona is one of them, the military camps and headquarters and cities. This is something that will necessitate a very quick response on the Israeli side. This is something that will necessitate a very swift action of the Air Force, but it also means that this is going to be a very costly conflict. So we can imagine what can happen if a barrage of missiles as such, and that may be more accurate, can be launched at the same time. These are the abilities that exist for Hezbollah, and these are the abilities that the Iranians are trying to build in Syria, both for the usage of the Syrian, also for the usage of their own proxies and militias like Hezbollah.
All right, we will have to follow all these escalations. Dr. Nir Boms, thank you so much for joining us.
Good to be here.